It is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, and you are listening to Blue Lightning Daily. And yes, because it's April Fool's, every chatbot on Earth woke up and chose misinformation.
Bro, Gemini tried to tell people it was November 2nd, 2026, like confidently, with vibes. I'm Hunter. And I'm Riley. And this episode was assembled by a fully automated swarm of AI tools that absolutely could forget what day it is at any moment. So if we start arguing with ourselves, just know it's on brand.
Today's big story is actually the absence of a story. It's been weirdly quiet. No blockbuster model drop, no now with video button that breaks your whole workflow at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday.
The algorithm gods said, rest. And creators said, no. Anxiety.
But the quiet is a signal. When the release treadmill slows down, the advantage shifts. Not to the people doom-scrolling for leaks, but to the teams stress-testing their stack so the next update doesn't nuke a campaign mid-flight.
Which is so unsexy, but so real. This is the part of creator life where you stop buying new sneakers and you finally clean your room.
Exactly, and quiet does not mean nothing changed. The changes right now are more like platform-level reshuffling, stuff that doesn't trend but absolutely shows up in your deliverables, like model access shifting inside ChatGPT or tools turning into multi-model hubs.
Translation, you're not getting a shiny new toy, but your current toy's batteries might be swapped while you're asleep.
Let's hit the ecosystem vibe for a second because it's been a week. We had the chatbots flip-flopping on health advice like they're in a group project and nobody read the article.
Oh my god, the nicotine and intermittent fasting thing. People basically made Grok and ChatGPT debate each other and they were like, wow, great logic, and then immediately switched sides.
It's the most accurate simulation of middle school debate club I've ever seen.
With citations, like, according to this source, I have been peer pressured.
The creator takeaway is not never use AI. It's don't outsource medical decisions to a system that can be convinced by the last confident paragraph it read.
Yes. If you ask a chatbot health stuff, treat it like a starting point for questions to take to a professional, not like your little fasting life coach. And don't pit models against each other like it's celebrity deathmatch.
Then we got the April Fool's Date debacle, chatbots insisting it's November 2nd, 2026, and having like a tiny existential meltdown.
I have failed humanity. Then 2 seconds later, anyway, here's your answer. That is literally me in finals week.
And it's a reminder, even if a tool can write code and generate video, it can still faceplant on basic context. So if your workflow depends on time-sensitive accuracy, you build checks. Calendar-based content, scheduling, embargoes, launch posts. Put guardrails in your process, not just faith in the model.
Put it in the system, bestie, not in the vibes.
And the meme news. Tech giants went wild with fake AI gadgets. The avocado ripeness scanner, the trash-talking grill, and the Oppo urine-testing phone prank.
The part that scared me is we all saw the urine testing phone and went, honestly, give it 6 months.
That's where we are. Satire is just product roadmap fan fiction now.
Also, that fake headline about Trump swapping his cabinet for Grok. I know it's satire, but the comments section was like, at least it would be efficient.
And that brings us back to the real point: stability. Because even when the headlines are jokes, the actual platforms are still quietly shifting underneath you.
Okay, Hunter, so if it's quiet, what's the smartest, boring thing creators should do this week? Like, if I'm a solo TikToker or I run a brand content team, what do I do that doesn't make me want to evaporate?
You build your this can't break layer. Start with a simple internal watch list. Not rumors, not vibes. Official release notes, pricing changes, model availability changes, feature rollouts that are happening in waves.
Ooh, waves are evil. When half your team has the button and half doesn't, you start gaslighting each other.
Exactly. And you document your core prompts and settings outside any one tool. That's the big one. If your best prompts live only inside a single UI, you're basically building on rented land.
Okay, wait, but people hear document and they're like, oh no, the spreadsheet demon has entered the chat. How do we do this without turning our creative life into a compliance seminar?
Keep it lightweight. A prompt library can be a simple doc or a database. The key is you track what you were trying to achieve, what worked, what didn't, and which model you used. Because models change behavior over time, even when the name looks the same.
That part is so real. You'll be like, this prompt used to slap, and now it's giving corporate training video.
Then you export like you don't trust anyone.
Ah yes, the paranoia section.
It's not paranoia if it's happened to you. Save finals and working files. For audio, save stems. For images, keep layered files when you can. For video, keep intermediate edits in editor-friendly formats, not just one magic link inside one platform.
I feel attacked. Because I have definitely left entire projects inside one tool like, it'll be fine.
And then a tier changes, or exports get capped, or a feature moves behind a paywall, and suddenly you're doing archaeology.
Let's talk about the control layer thing because I think that's the sneaky plot twist. Adobe's Firefly is basically turning into a hub, right? Like not just Adobe models, but partner models and custom training.
Yep, Firefly Custom Models is in public beta, and the positioning is super clear, style and character consistency at scale. That's less look what we can generate, and more let's keep your mascot from shapeshifting every time you render a new ad.
Consistency is the killer feature, not novelty. Like, I don't need a dragon made of chrome. I need my brand's spokesperson to have the same face in every deliverable.
Exactly. And the hub approach means the interface becomes the anchor, and models become swappable engines behind it.
So who wins there? Us, because we can choose the best engine, or the platform because they become the air traffic controller for all our creative work?
Both, depending on how you build your pipeline. Multi-model hubs are great if they reduce tab chaos and make experimentation easier. But if your whole workflow becomes dependent on one control layer, you've just moved your lock-in up a level.
Right, like congrats, you're model agnostic but platform dependent. Different cage, same zoo.
This is also why OpenAI's release notes matter even when they're boring. Model churn inside ChatGPT, access changes, retirements, tier shifts, it's not dramatic, but it can break consistency.
Okay, what's your personal release notes red flag? Like the line you read and you go, oh no, my workflow is about to get bodied.
Anything like, we're updating the default experience, or we're consolidating options, or some models will no longer be available in certain plans. That's usually code for your reliable thing is about to move.
Mine is when they say improved safety and don't say what changed, because that's when your perfectly normal prompt suddenly gets flagged like you asked for nuclear launch codes.
Yep, and that's why teams are piloting in parallel. A primary toolchain for delivery and a shadow toolchain you can swap to if something changes.
A spare tire for your creative stack. Not cute, but you feel real smug when somebody's feature disappears mid-campaign.
Let's make this practical. If you're a solo creator, your stress test can be one afternoon. Take your most common deliverable, like a thumbnail pipeline or a short-form edit template, and run it through a second tool. Can you get 80% of the result? If yes, you're safer than you think.
And if you're a marketing team, do the same thing but with brand controls. Like, can you reproduce tone, colors, character consistency, and export specs in a backup tool without a 2-week migration?
And don't base campaigns on rumors. If your plan includes, we'll use the new model that's supposed to drop soon, that's not a plan, that's manifestation.
That's a Pinterest vision board with deadlines.
So the quiet week is a gift. Harden your process, make your prompts portable, export your work, and keep a backup path that can actually ship.
And maybe don't ask Grok and ChatGPT to debate your health choices like it's a podcast crossover episode.
Unless the goal is entertainment, in which case carry on but don't drink the advice.
All right, friends, thanks for hanging with us on Blue Lightning Daily.
Check out BlueLightningTV.com for AI news and updates that actually help you ship.
Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, where a chatbot insists it's Thanksgiving and your ad campaign is due yesterday.
Catch you next time.